Hi everyone. I want to welcome you again to the course. I hope by now you've watched some of the introductory material I have on the course website. Um, in this video I want to go over the details of the syllabus a little bit. But first, again, I want to welcome you to the course. I want to welcome you in particular to psychology at HPU. This is really the first course in our major. Of course, you took an introduction to psychology here or somewhere as a prerequisite to this course. But as you probably know from looking ahead at your curriculum, this course is a prerequisite for another course, Research Methods in Psychology, Psych 2200, which is a prerequisite for many of the other upper division courses that are required of the major, and some of the electives as well. So we hope you're taking this early in your career here in the psych department, and therefore I want to particularly welcome you to psychology. Some of you perhaps have already taken a few or maybe even several psychology classes here. But some of you, this might be the first course after intro. It might be your first course, your first psych course here at HPU. So, welcome to your major. Welcome to your discipline. I want you to get to know me this semester. I want you to, even though it's an online course, and it does have its challenges in getting to know the other people in the class, I hope that one way or another you can manage to get to know each other. The other students in taking this class and in any other sections that are running this semester at the same time, face to face, those folks are your cohort. These are you folks are going to march along through our program. The next class many of you might and should take will be the research methods course I just mentioned. And then you'll march through taking courses like the biopsychology course, the cognition and learning course, developmental psychology, abnormal psychology, tests and measurements, and so on and so on. So you'll see some familiar faces and you'll make some friends. And that's what I particularly like about teaching this class. It's one of the first ones in the major, and I like to watch you all proceed through and get to know each other in this class and subsequent courses. So welcome to psychology at HPU. I'm going to have much to say about psychology as we go along this term. I'll certainly be making very frequent announcements about many of the goings on. As I'm the advisor to the Psychology Club and the Psy-Chi Honor Society chapter here at HPU, I'll be encouraging you to get involved with those two groups starting right now. Please get involved with those two groups, particularly if you're on campus. If you're not on campus taking this and other courses online, let's communicate and figure out ways for you to be fruitfully involved with those groups. Work towards membership in Psych-Chi. Psychology Club is open to anyone, and I'll tell you another time about getting involved with the Psychology Club. It's a simple matter of sending them an email and getting on their mailing list. And it's open to everyone, and they're very active, and it's a very well-run, award-winning group, and we're well on our way towards more acclaim. So we have great leadership, and you'll be hearing about the Psychology Club. Psych-Chi is an honor society, as I've mentioned, and that does have some requirements, and I'll be encouraging you to explore what those requirements are. I'm not going to go through them right now, but be sure to work your way towards earning the membership into Psych-Chi. Okay? Both of those are great ways to get to know your other students and your faculty. That's important. You came to a small school, are enrolling in classes in a small school so that you can get to know faculty and not be anonymous. Don't be an anonymous student sitting at home taking an online course. Do what you can from there to get to know us faculty. Develop these relationships, develop these bonds. Perhaps someday you'll be seeking a reference, letter of recommendation, wanting me or other faculty to be references for jobs and fellowships and scholarships and on and on and on. So the best way to do that is to get to know us faculty and work with us. And one of the best ways to get to know me is by getting involved with those two student groups that I'm the advisor to. So I do hope you'll consider taking me up on this advice. So I'm not here to talk about all that right now. My primary mission right now is to go over the syllabus a little bit and go over the course page a little bit and give you a better idea of the nuts and bolts of the class and what you can expect to be doing this semester. Okay, so here we go. By now you obviously have figured out how to get into the course page because you're watching this video located here on the course page. Now, I have chosen to have you get dumped into this course modules page for a reason. On the left over here in the menu, there's other things to explore and look at. But this module page is where you're going to be spending the bulk of your time in this course. And so essentially, as it says here, we'll be working our way from top to bottom through this series of folders, these modules. So if you haven't already, start at the top and get into this course introduction, which I'm guessing you have because that's where this video is. And I'll go back there in just a second here, but after we get through some of this course introductory stuff, we'll get going on the modules, and we'll work our way down. So you're not going to see much content in those yet. I'll be releasing it and making it available as we go along here. But in the modules, you'll find things like sometimes there will be presentations like this where I go over some material, perhaps narrate PowerPoints. I might make the PowerPoints available that are from the book. The textbook provides some PowerPoints, and I generally don't use those. In the past, I haven't used those, but there's no harm in me throwing them in here and making them available for you. If you find them useful and helpful, I'll put them there. There will be some of my PowerPoints where I go through some of the material I'm presenting. There will be handouts that we'll be using, and you'll find them in the relevant module folders. There will be other assignments, perhaps some quizzes, and so on. So you'll work through these modules, and when we're done with the requirements there and the deadlines that are assigned within each one, then it will be time to move on to the next module, and we'll be hopefully doing them in approximately loosely about a module per week. We'll fall behind at times, most likely. We may catch up other weeks, but scrolling down, we do have a fairly ambitious set of goals here to get through. I have 15 modules. As you see here, interjected in between are the exams. As I'll explain in a few minutes, we'll be having 4 regular exams. Well, we'll have 4 exams. 3 of them will be so-called traditional regular exams. And they will cover the first exam will cover things from here at the beginning until the end of this module number 5. When we're done with that topic, we'll take exam 1. That exam will appear inside this folder along with some study guides perhaps, and any other materials that are relevant and directions for taking that exam. So when it's time to take that exam, we'll say more about it, and it will be available to you in that folder, and you'll take it there. Then we'll move on to module 6, 7, and so on, and then we'll have a second exam, and that will cover specifically material since that first exam. Now, statistics, like it or not, for better or for worse, I guess worse, is a comprehensive kind of topic. It builds. We're rolling a snowball. We're building a snowman this course. And it's not like Introduction to Psychology where you covered 10 or 12 or 14 fairly or very independent chapters, and you you realistically could cover them in any order that you wanted to. When you were done with the development chapter, you could move on to a cognition chapter and so on, or you could have done it the other way around. Anyway. Statistics is a little bit like learning a foreign language in the sense that it's all building, it's all it's comprehensive. Okay, I can't sugarcoat that. But my exams, the three regular exams, won't be comprehensive in nature. They will specifically be targeting material that's in that section. Okay. Again, it's comprehensive, so it's not like we'll ignore and forget everything in these first several modules when we're working on the second set of modules, and then forget those for the third. All right, point made. We'll wrap up at the very end with a comprehensive final exam. Now, you notice it's called a take-home exam. Frankly, an online course is a take-home course, but this will differ than the other exams. The other exams I'll explain when it gets closer to taking them, but they will likely be timed exams. You won't be sitting there with your textbook trying to learn and read the material for the questions. It will be timed, and so you will have to study and prepare for them as if it was a in-class kind of exam. The comprehensive final, however, is more like a take-home project. When I teach face-to-face, I give that during the last week of classes, and the students have generally a week or 8 days to do it and then submit it by a deadline. And so that works just fine for this class, an online class too. So much more about the comprehensive final when we get there. Don't worry about it, but prepare for it as you go through these modules. So, this material, like I said, we're going to pack a snowball, we're going to build a snowman, and we don't ever forget any parts of the snowman as we move on to the next part of the snowman, okay? It's all essential. If you haven't got that base, the second snowball isn't going to have anywhere to go. And then the head, okay? So keep that in mind. Don't let your snowman, you got to build it. You got to keep it cold. Don't let it melt. Got it? Good. All right. So anyway, that's a little bit about the course. That's hopefully enough about this course module page that you'll be dumped into every time here. Now, of course, on the left you got the menus. You can go explore some of the other things here, but this is by and large probably where you're going to work with as we go through the semester. Okay, well, I'm here mostly to talk about the syllabus, and I want to give a little bit of an introduction to that here. So by now, I think you have probably found it, but we're working right now through this course introduction folder, so let's go in there. And you'll have the table of contents when you're inside all of these modules here, and generally I'd like you to work your way down through them. Of course, you can go back and forth and come back and revisit things, but as you'll likely find, sometimes later items won't make much sense unless you've done the previous items, so you'll by and large be working in a linear top-down kind of fashion here. Okay, so anyway, here's your first folder to work through, and by now, if you haven't done this, I want you to stop, pause this video, and go back and go into this student and instructor introduction section. There's a video there that I wanted you to watch before this one. Go watch that and partake in the discussion board if you haven't already. See the instructions there. I want you to tell me and each other about yourself. I want you all to try to get to know each other, and we'll hopefully do some things throughout the semester with discussion boards and whatnot to help facilitate you getting to know each other. For those of you that are on the island, that are maybe taking classes on the downtown campus as well as this online course, I want to remind you, I'll say it before, I'll say it many times, that I'm available. I'll be here generally in this wonderful office here in the MP building. And I'd love to get to know you. I'd love for you to stop by. For those of you that are off island, that will be off island much or the entire time of this term, we won't forget you. We'll keep working with you, and you won't be at a disadvantage. But for those of you that are local, perhaps we can get together. And like I said, it's, this is a cohort building kind of course, and I do want you to get to know each other as much as we possibly can for an online course. So I hope those of you that can't do that kind of stuff won't mind if some of us who can more conveniently get together do try to choose to get together. So maybe we can, I'd like you, like I keep saying, I'd like you to get to know me, and I'd like to get to know you. So come by, see me in my office. I'll take you out to have coffee or something, and we can chat and talk about plans and goals and your ambitions for your degree and afterwards. So anyway, go start there. I'm getting off track. Go back to the to this section if you haven't already, and do that stuff first. Then you can open up the course syllabus, and please do that if you haven't already, so you have that to kind of flip through as I sort of am doing the same. Okay, so you're here watching this video syllabus right now. How do I do that? You're watching something and there's a link for it already. Spooky, huh? All right. And then afterwards, you can go on and do these next few, the first two assignments. Your first two assignments will be to do a syllabus quiz. I'm going to quiz you about this syllabus we're covering right now, and something I call the book preview. So you'll read about those. All right. So we're here for the syllabus. So let me open that up. So when I click on that, it will open up hopefully for you too, it will open up successfully in a new window here. Okay. Now, scrolling through this thing, it's a lot of pages, and I'm not going to stand here and read everything to you, and you're going to read through this on your own, but I want to hit some of the highlights here. So at the very top here, I've got information about me and where I am physically. I'm in the 1188 Fort Street Mall building, which is called the Model Progress, or MP building, here on the corner of Fort Street and Baratania Avenue, and I'm in room 407. Okay, so come knock on my door over there and get to know me if you're here and can. All right, there's my phone number. There's my email. Notice that my email does not have like your campus one does. It's just at HPU, not at my.hpu.edu. So don't get mixed up about that. Please use this. The Blackboard. The Blackboard page has a course email thing over here, and I'd rather you just emailed me directly, okay, using that bmetcalf@hpu.edu address. All right. All of my courses this term are online, so I'm not having any set office hours. But as I keep saying, I'll be here frequently. You're welcome to pop in. Or make an appointment, and we can meet in person if possible and if necessary. Okay, so that's where to find me. That's how to get a hold of me. And obviously where the course page is. There's two general ways that I'm aware of to get into Blackboard. One is through Pipeline. If you go to when you're in Pipeline, if you go to your My Courses tab and click on the course, it will open up a window, and you'll be able to click on this course. Okay, it'll open up Blackboard and click on this course. You maybe already know that. You can also go directly by bypassing Pipeline, which you'll probably want to do once you get, it's kind of a pain to go into Pipeline and then go into Blackboard. So you might want to just bookmark a link so that you can come directly to the page here. So here's the link to that. Okay. The course does have some prereqs, so check out that. Make sure that you're eligible and it's proper for you to be here taking this course. If you haven't met any of those prereqs, talk to your advisor. Definitely talk to your advisor before continuing. Don't automatically go and drop the course yet. Let's talk to an advisor and/or Dr. Mike Erickson, the department chair, okay, or me, and let's talk about options if it turns out you have not met these course prerequisites. All right, the course is, as you probably already know, is a 4-credit course, and it's modeled after the sciences, the biologies and chemistry kind of courses where you have a lecture and a lab. And so in face-to-face, that's how we operate. We have students would come in and meet for 3 hours for lecture, and then 3 hours for lab. So for a total, we'd meet for a potential total of 6 hours per week. It's a little bit obviously different for an online course, but I still intend to have lecture-y kind of components and labby kind of components, all right? So in the lab stuff, for lab, we'll do a little bit more hands-on kinds of things. We're going to be learning how to use a program called SPSS. It's a statistical program, a very, very powerful, very sophisticated one. You don't need to buy it. It's available for you to use. I'll demonstrate later. It's available for you free to use online, which is a remarkable and new development here within the last year. So, in fact, it's freeing up my ability to teach this course online because now you no longer need to buy your own copy of SPSS. You'd be shocked to find out how much it costs. It's well over $2,000 just for the base module. Yeah. So there are steep discounts for students, but still free is always better than anything. So you'll be using SPSS on what's called the HPU cloud, and I'll describe that another time if you don't know how to get your cloud services running. Okay? It's a pretty neat thing. You will need the book, however, so let's talk about the book. Here's information about the book, and just as the picture, it looks a lot like, well, it looks like this because, well, this is the book. Okay, all right. I want to pre-apologize for this. If you haven't already bought the book, if you haven't already looked down below at the price, it's a shocker. It's a jaw-dropping kind of price, and I want to pre-apologize about that. I'm appalled that it costs over $200 for this book. Whew, that's steep. That stings, and I apologize. If there's some good, well, there is some good news. Depending on who you take for research methods, if that's your next course to take after this one, which for most of you it should be, the good news is that I've been able to kind of twist arms for a few of my colleagues, and currently most of them who are teaching research methods also use this book. So if you're lucky and wind up with one of those instructors, and if they continue to do so next semester or beyond, it's a 2-for-1. So there you go. I hope that lessens the sting a bit. There's used books out there in the world. Perhaps you can explore that and find a cheaper alternative. There is, I haven't seen it myself, but there's a digital version of it that you essentially, I think, rent for, I'm not sure how that works. You can check out our bookstore. They also have it for, for this $80-ish price. That's substantially less, and so if you want to explore that, check with the bookstore. There's information about the bookstore right there. You can call this person or email this person or stop in person and ask more details about new, used, and digital versions of this book. If you order it wherever you order it from, our store or any other store online, make sure you choose a pretty prompt shipping method if you haven't gotten the book already. I want you to get started with it immediately this week. So I do have a copy of it on reserve in our downtown library on the 3rd floor at the circulation desk. So those of you that are on island, that's an option for you to use it there. You can't check it out of the library, but with your ID, you can check it out to use within the library for a few hours. So be resourceful, be assertive, and get yourself a copy or access to a copy of the book one way or another. Get started. Okay. Now, while I'm talking about the book, one more thing I want to mention about it is you see it's a research methods and statistics book. So, unfortunately, in addition to the price tag, another unfortunate thing about the book is that it's not so neatly organized such that, well, nice and conveniently, the first half is statistics and the second half is research methods. It's pretty intertwined. Research methods and statistics are an intertwined set of disciplines. And we could very well have had you take research methods first and then statistics second, which some schools do. And some schools mash it all together and take, maybe 1 or 2 semester long course that they're combined into one. So we here are doing stats and methods in that order. So I will have a document I will have a document available to you that the document consists of the detailed outline for in the table of contents, and I've indicated which sections, in my opinion, are stats, which are methods, and which are both. And that might be useful to have with you. Maybe I'll get that online, and you can print out a copy of that maybe and tuck it in the book. And as you kind of are reading through it, you can kind of see which ones are, in my opinion, which is for this course. The things marked with an S for stats or B for both will be things, of course, for this class. Now, you should take research methods if you haven't already afterwards, and since you will be doing that, there's no harm in just ignoring. There's no harm in ignoring which thing to read. Just read the book. Read the book. You'll need it for next semester as well. So that's another even better alternative, is to not sit there trying to worry about which parts you need to read for this semester and skip the parts you don't need to read. It's a good book. I think it's helpful. I think it's useful. I think you'll find it a good book. You won't like the price. Enough about the book. Get it. Let me know if there's any problems. Move on. All right. I have gobs of information about the course goals, objectives, student learning outcomes, and whoopsie, I want you to take a cruise through there. Okay, so my cursor is not cooperating. Here we go. As you see, it goes on a few pages. So, all right. Okay, now I also want to pre-apologize because I'm more used to teaching in class. The syllabus evolved from teaching in the classroom, and I'm adopting it for teaching online. And there might be language in here that pertains to that refers to a more traditional in-class kind of environment. So I want to pre-apologize for things like that. So, for example, right here it refers to laboratory periods. As I said a moment ago, we're going to have lecture kind of stuff and lab kind of stuff. And some of the things that you'll be viewing will be very clear. They'll very clearly be lab-oriented kinds of things and so on. Okay. I already mentioned the exams, so there's a little bit about the information. There's more about the exams. And my policy about late work, don't be late. Without previous without getting previous approval from me, not doing something on time is it's a deadline. I don't accept it afterwards, or if you miss an exam, if we haven't made an arrangement beforehand, you're going to have to take that on the chin. So be very cognizant of the deadlines. And for an online course, you need to be very motivated to keep up and aware of when things are due. So that is important to me. Right. There may be some opportunities for extra credit, but don't depend on it too heavily. I see extra credit as a little bit like overtime on certain jobs. First, you got to work the hours before the extra credit, before the overtime is any good or any use. It's generally not going to be worth a lot. I mean, if you're really in the tank, you can't come running up to me at the end of the semester and say, "Oh, is there anything I can do? Anything extra I can do?" Indeed, I don't want to give you extra work when you're struggling with the work at hand. So that doesn't make any sense for you or for me to give you additional work if you're struggling with the work we already have. So just put that out of your mind. If we have extra credit, will be little perks to help. In classes, sometimes I would give extra credit for attending some of our monthly symposiums where we have guest speakers, just to kind of give you a little extra incentive to go to these things. And so, but they're not generally big things to bump you out of a hole if you've gotten yourself into one during the term. So keep up, don't get in a hole, don't count on extra credit. It's not going to be the savior that you're maybe looking for. Okay, here's a loose tentative outline. This kind of, as you're going to see, very well matches the modules. Each one of those modules is essentially one of these topics here where we, and then where we have exams. Notice I don't have dates because I I don't always know exactly what day this far ahead when we're going to have, say, the first exam. But it will be here when we're done with this block of material. Measures of variability, we'll have an exam on that chunk of stuff, and then we'll move on and cover these few topics, and we'll have another exam, and so on. So while I can't tell you precisely what date things are now, you'll always know ahead of time. In class, for in-class classes, I always promise to give minimally 1 week's notice. I promise never to say, with less than a week's notice that we're going to have an exam, and I'll adhere to that online too. You'll know certainly well at least a week ahead of time when we're going to have one of those timed exams. So pay attention, and you won't be surprised. Okay. Here's the relative weights of what things will be worth. So the first 3 exams have these sort of awkward weights to them. They're worth this percentage of the grade. And notice that comprehensive final exam, notice that it's worth substantially more than any of the previous exams, all right, 27.5% of your grade. That's good, especially if you were struggling with any of the earlier material. It's good to have a bigger opportunity to knuckle down, solidify what we were going through and what you were supposed to have known, and master it for the final exam, and it can boost your grade up. Of course, you can work the other way around. If you fall apart at the end of the semester, that final exam, if you fall apart there, it's a bigger thing to fall apart on. So let's not talk about falling apart. Okay, it's a beginning of it's a fresh new start. Nobody's going to fall apart. All right. And then the chunk, what I call homework and lab work, will be worth about 20% of your grade. Okay, and that will be your grade. All right. I use the plus-minus system with these percentages here. Ultimately, your final grade will be a percent. I don't work on a point system. I work on, as you see here, a percent system. Okay, and this is a place where you can keep track of your grade, and you don't have to be surprised at any point. Okay. All right, the rest of the syllabus I will let you read on your own and go through. A little bit more information, some of it about about HPU, where this course fits in the university's 5 themes curriculum, and a little bit more about the grading policy here at HPU, some other resources and offices that might be useful to know about, policies about incompletes, withdrawals, the learning support services that we have, a little bit more about me, a little bit more about purchasing textbooks, a little bit about my teaching philosophy. You might have noticed I'm a fan of The Simpsons by now. Links to the psychology department's website, and so on. Okay, so take a look through the syllabus, and afterwards, after listening to this, after looking at the syllabus, do indeed let me know if you have any questions, concerns. Fire them off in email, put them in the discussion board. So again, if you haven't already, get to the discussion board and get going on that. Start telling me about yourself, and start talking, and talk to each other. Don't just talk to me, all right? Follow up with what other co-students have put up on the discussion board. If you know where they're from, hey, I went there, what high school did you go to? Follow up with follow-up questions if you see something. Get to know, let's start chatting, start getting to know each other. That's my telephone. I'm going to pause this for just a second. Okay, I'm back. So that's enough about the syllabus. If you have any questions, get in touch with me. All right. So pick up where we left off here on the student and instructor introductions and this introduction folder. Now you can move on and take that syllabus quiz and submit that, and do that book preview assignment. That's self-explanatory when you go in there. And then you will be ready to proceed. Once you're done with all of that, you can then jump into Module 1 and we can get started. So, welcome again. I hope you had a good break if you were smart enough to take one. I hope you're excited about a new semester. a new set of courses. Good luck with all of them these early days as we're getting started, and you'll see me again real soon. Adios.